Allow me, therefore, to welcome with humility the architect of today, who has led the team that has been spearheading the formation of the foundation, its progress, and the ones who have designed this program. Mr. Tumuhimbise, please come forward and speak to us briefly. A warm hand clap as he takes the podium.
Yeah, sure. I was almost getting off our DNA of testing the microphone on whether it is working or otherwise. Not quite often that we get opportunities like this to convene great men and women of honor. It is for that reason that I want to thank God once again for having given us this opportunity to convene great men and women of honor, but also ask you, because for purposes of saving time, that I ride on the protocol as mentioned inter alia and salute you all. My name is Tumuhimbise, and I happen to be the director of Kanyeihamba Foundation, a foundation that was founded by Professor Kanyeihamba and many others for purposes of promoting the entire dream for which he has for this country. Precisely, I will ask that I share with you a very brief story of a gentleman who was born in 1911 in the UK by the names of Reverend Dr. Edward Chad. This gentleman, Edward Chad, was born in the UK in 1911. And by 1935, he was simply 24 years. So he was invited to preside over a burial ceremony of a young girl aged 14 years. This young girl had been allocated, her body had been allocated to the unsecreted burial grave. So he asked his ADs, and the reason for which this young girl was pushed away to the extreme end of the yard. The gentleman next to him told him that the young girl had committed suicide at simply 14 years. He asked, why did the young girl commit suicide? They answered to him that the young girl had faced her first menstruation, and therefore she considered her blood as something that was unhealthy and shameful. Sadly, the young girl of 14 years did not have anyone to share the story with, so she committed suicide. You know what Reverend Chad did? She looked deep in the grave and said, young girl, I did not know you, but you have changed my life. I will start a foundation. And by 1935, he had the dream to start a foundation, which initially started on 11th November 1953. To achieve two things, he set up a toll-free call center that every person who had suicidal dreams and mind could call, and someone at least listens to them. But most importantly, his foundation initiated the education of reproductive health in every school in the UK. Apparently, his foundation has 20,000 volunteers. I'm sharing this story so that we know the purpose for which foundations are formed. That every foundation has a purpose. So you have heard how Reverend Chad started a foundation. Those of you who have been in the UK, the foundation is called the Samaritans. nicknamed as the befrienders in UK. Every 10 seconds, they receive a call of suffering people and other young people. Comrades, ladies and gentlemen, men and women of honor, I want to thank you once again for being with us here, because you mean a lot, but also to have this formal communication that while we thought we'd have Professor Kanyeihamba, as you understand life, he literally wasn't as well, but his speech is going to be with us virtually. One of the reasons for which personally I'm here and also to encourage you is to preach the acts of kindness. I have for so long talked to colleagues telling them that the mushrooming churches, pastors, reverends, and mosques and the rest don't represent godliness, but rather the acts of kindness do. We're expecting the Deputy Chief Justice here. I would perhaps share with him that so many courts of judicature and so many advocates do not represent justice until you have fair, free, expeditious, and speedy hearing. That's what you would call justice. But I am glad that he will also get this message. By the way, so much traffic jam in our Kampala roads does not represent development. It could be as a result of potholes. So many administrative units don't represent representation and service delivery. It is until you have and executed acts of kindness. As I close, I have a small gift for all of us in this room, and there is a reason. I have flowers, and they are white roses for each one of the people that are in this room. The reason for that gift is to share with you that all of us are like flowers. We don't live here forever. Beneath our skin are bacteria that make us rot. So literally, we rot. We get disposed of like flowers. What is very key, though, is the seed that you leave behind before you leave this world. A reason for which we have this theme, leaving a forever legacy. May I have my colleagues share at least a flower, a symbol of peace, truth, justice. Because as Professor Kanyeihamba wrote in one of his books as a book title, in the name of God, truth, and justice. That flower for us means a lot. To represent truth, transparency, justice, and fairness. But most importantly, acts of kindness. I beg to submit and wish you a nice stay for the minutes we shall be here, and ensuring that we embrace Professor Kanyeihamba's dream of seeing a very fair, just, and free society. May God bless one and bless all.
Thank you very much, Norman. As we are telling us that we're here to launch the Kanyeihamba Foundation, Living a Forever Legacy, this 21st day of June 2024. And if you look at this, the values, I was saying Kanyeihamba Foundation, first of all, there's national conscience. I mean, we need to have a conscience. That's the motto here. Our motto is national conscience. Our vision, creating meaningful engagements on social transformation. Not just talking about it, but meaningful engagements. And our mission, transforming societies through promoting, preserving, and instituting values of truth, transparency, justice, and accountability. And that is the Professor G.W. Kanyeihamba Foundation that we are here to launch today at the Imperial Royale Hotel.